Now coming on to the second part of the protoplasm, that is the cytoplasm. I told you that the cell membrane contains the liquid part, this is cytoplasm. So it's turn to study about that. So cytoplasm is actually a jelly-like substance. Cytoplasm is actually a jelly-like substance which is present which is enclosed in the cell membrane other than which is present in the nucleus. So it is the jelly-like substance which is present within the cell. I am not talking about the fluid which is present in the nucleus. We are not considering that fluid, just the fluid that is outside the nucleus and inside the cell membrane is called as cytoplasm. It contains actually many, you can say many organelles, many special structures which are actually performing many important functions for the cell. And maybe the functions are secondary, but still the functions are so important because it support the cell, support the working of the cell. And those substances are referred to as organelles. Those substances are referred to as organelles. So this we are going to start that what organelles are present within the cell and what kind of function they perform actually. So moving on to the first organelle, that is the Golgi body. That is the Golgi body. It appeared to be like this. It appeared to be like this. You can see that flat membranes stacked one over other. So I'll write here how Golgi body appears to be. Flat membranes, one stacked over another. Flat membranes, one stacked over another. And if we talk about that, like what is the function it is actually doing is, it act like packers and movers of the cell. What they do actually, they secrete substances like hormones, enzymes, they secrete those substances and they are also involved in the transportation of these substances. Also involved in the transportation of these substances. So we can say that they act like packers and movers of the cell. They are secreting things, they are packing that and they are carrying out where it is required within the cell. So this is what is a Golgi body. It has been allotted, like if we talk about that in which cell it is being present. So it is present in plant as well as in animal cell. We see that this is a Golgi body in the plant cell and this is the Golgi body in the animal cell. So in both of it, it is present. So but it has a special name in case of plant cell and that is the dictyosome. That is the dictyosome. So this is what is about Golgi body. Moving on to the another organelle, that is the mitochondria. Now you can see that how it looks like. It appears to be like this. So if we talk about its shape, it is rod shaped. It is rod shaped, in which you can see that outer membrane is smooth but inner membrane is folded. And one more thing, like in Golgi body, each flattened membrane is called as cisternae. Now moving on to mitochondria, how they look like, it is rod shaped actually. Outer membrane you can see is smooth but inner membrane is folded and each fold is called as crista. Please don't get confused with crista and cisternae. They both appear to be same but actually they are different. These are the stacked flat membranes is cisternae in Golgi body and crista is the fold of the inner membrane of the mitochondria. Now what they are up to, what they do actually, they help in oxidation of food. Food is being oxidized here, it is being broken here and as a result it produces energy. And as you already know that in our body energy is produced in a chemical form, that is ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. So as you can see that it is actually producing energy in form of ATP. So here you can say that it is actually a reservoir for energy because it is producing energy. So therefore it has been allotted a special name. It is called as powerhouse of cell. As we know that like as it is supplying power in the form of energy to the cell, so that is why it is called as powerhouse of the cell. And you can see that it is present again in the plant cell also, it is present in the animal cell also. So it is present in both plant as well as in animal cell. So moving on to the third organelle we see is the vacuole. This is how the vacuole looks like. You can see that a membrane enclosing a fluid. It is a membrane enclosing a fluid. Just we'll look for the vacuole in the plant as well as in the animal cell. This is the vacuole of the plant cell. As you can see, it is so big in size. But in animal cell, if we locate it, so it is so small, and sometimes it may not be present. So vacuole we can write as that how it looks like. They are called as fluid filled spaces. They are called as fluid filled spaces. As we can see that in plant cell it is very big in size. So we say in plant cell it is very big and permanent. But if we talk about the animal cell, there may be a chance that vacuole may not be present. But if in case it is present, it is, you have seen that it is too small in size. It is too small in size and it is actually temporary. After some time it just vanishes off. Like and you know that in plant cell it has been allotted a special name because it is actually forming, you can say that 80% of the volume of the plant cell is formed formed by the vacuole only. So it has a special name allotted to the outer membrane of the vacuole and the fluid also. So what is the outer membrane called? It is called as tonoplast, only in the plant cell, not in the animal cell. I have already written for you, that is the tonoplast. And the fluid which is enclosed in it in case of plant cell, that is called as cell sap. That is called as cell sap. So you should know that vacuole is present mostly in plant cell, but it may be present sometime in animal cell. But in plant cell it is too big in size. Outer membrane is tonoplast filled with fluid cell sap. And in animal cell it is temporary, very small, and with time it just vanishes off. And if we talk about its function, so what does it do for the cell? It helps in storing the excess food, the excess ions, water, whatever is there in excess that is stored in the vacuole in the cell sap. So this is what is the vacuole, right? So now moving on to the next organelle, that is the lysosome. That is the lysosome. How it looks like, it also look like this. So you may get confused that this is a lysosome or a vacuole, but don't get confused, they appear to be same, but actually they are having a different function, as it is storing the excess products and it encloses the cell sap, which is storing the excess water, ions and minerals and food. But here what is enclosed in this membrane is the digestive enzyme, is the powerful digestive enzymes. And as far as their function is concerned, entirely different functions they perform. Like lysosome, what does it do for the cell? It cleans the cell. How? It, like if any foreign particle enters into the cell, it eats up. Likewise, it just like if any cell worn out, it eats up. And if any organelles you can say is becomes dead with time, so it can eat the organelle also. And moreover, you know that if any case, if the cell is on a path of getting damaged, if in case the cell gets damaged, it has so much powerful enzymes that it can even digest its own cell. That is the reason lysosome has been called as suicidal bags. So that because this is a bag, we can say that it can function as a bag in which the cell commit the suicide. But when only at that time when the cell is on the path of getting damaged, or if any case the organelles which are present in the cell get destroyed due to any factor. So this is what is the lysosome. So if somebody asks you about lysosome or the suicidal bags, you are going to say that it is a fluid, it is a membrane containing a digestive enzyme, powerful digestive enzyme. Its function is to eat worn out cell, eat foreign substance, and if in case the cell gets damaged, it can eat its own cell also. So that is the reason it is called as suicidal bags. And if we consider in which of the two it is present in both plant as well as in the animal cell. Now moving on to the next organelle we have is endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. And again it is present in both. You can see that here also it is present, here also it is present. So it is present in both the cells, that is both plant as well as the animal cell. Now how it looks like? It appears to be irregular network of membranes. It appears to be irregular network of membranes. But you know that there is a, like as I have drawn endoplasmic reticulum, this is also ER, this is also ER, this is also ER, this is also ER, but there is a slight difference you can see here. So based on that difference, what we do is we classify ER into two categories: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The rough one is that which contains the ribosomes. As you can see here, I have made this red small granules. These are the ribosomes. So this ER is particularly RER because it has ribosome attached to it. So this is what is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which has ribosomes attached to it. And the smooth one is that which lacks the ribosome, So now coming on to the function, that what function actually it performs. So it actually formed the framework of the cell. It actually formed the our body is supported by bones and all, they form the framework. So likewise the framework of the cell is the ER, that is it forms the skeletal framework of the cell. And as far as the more functions are concerned, smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in detoxification. That means if any foreign toxic substance enter into the cell, it can actually detoxify that. And it is also concerned in the secretion of lipids. It secretes lipids for the cell. And as far as RDR is concerned, so obviously it has ribosome attached, so it is indirectly involved in the protein synthesis. And both of them actually form a framework. So this is what they are doing for the cell. So if somebody is going to question you on endoplasmic reticulum, you are going to say it is irregular network of membrane found in both the cells, and it's of two types. If ribosome attached, then RER, if not, then SCR. And as far as functions are concerned, the both form the framework of the cell, and if you talk about only smooth, it helps in detoxification and secrete lipids, and RER is indirectly involved in the protein synthesis. Now moving on to the ribosome, we have ribosome look like this. These small granules, these are actually ribosomes. So you know that where they occur free also, as I have made few for you. These free black one, they are ribosomes, so they may occur free and they may attach to the endoplasmic reticulum. So they can occur in both the ways in the cell, and it is present in both the cells. And you know that they are actually called as factory of proteins. They are called as factory of proteins because they are involved in the directly involved in the production of proteins. So that is why they are called as factory of proteins. So you may get a question like that name the factory of proteins. So you should be quick with an answer that it is ribosome. If somebody asks you that the currency of the cell, so currency of the cell is that which you can spend actually. So a cell can spend energy, so it is ATP. If somebody asks you powerhouse of the cell, you should quick with an answer, the one which produce energy, that is mitochondria. And the packers and movers of the cell, it is the Golgi body. And likewise we have this thing endoplasmic reticulum, but it acts as a framework of the cell. Now moving on to the another organelle, that is the plastid. Plastid is an organelle which is present only in a plant cell. It is lacking in the animal cell. So generally we found three kinds of plastids. One is the leucoplast, other is the chromoplast, and third is the chloroplast. Basically only three plastids are there: leuco, chromo and chloro. Now leucoplast is actually colorless. It do not have any color. Chromoplast can have any color but except green. It is colored except green. And chloroplast is particularly of green color. Now what function they are performing for us? Leucoplast actually store substances, the excess water, food in the plant cell. Chromoplast, because it is colored except green color, it is going to impart color to flower and fruits. It is the one which makes the flowers and the fruits colored. And chloroplast, we know that is a green colored plastid which contain the pigment chlorophyll, which is directly involved in food synthesis process, that is the photosynthesis. So this is what is a chloroplast. See, how does it look like? It has a double membrane structure in which there is these red dots indicate a fluid that is called as stoma, or we also call it as matrix. It has a small granule-like structure stacked over one another, just like as you pile the coins. So these structures are called as grana, and as you can see, this green lines, they are indicating the green pigment which they carry, that is the chlorophyll. And you all are aware that chlorophyll is that pigment which is actually capable of trapping the solar energy and is capable of converting that solar energy into the chemical energy of the food. And the process involved is basically called as photosynthesis. And just please keep in mind that plastids are the organelles which are present only in the plant cell, they are not present in the animal cell. Moving on to the last organelle, we have the centrosome. Centrosome is an organelle which is present only in the animal cell, it is not there in the plant cell. It is formed of two granules, particularly called as centrioles, and their function is just a spindle formation during cell division. See, you are not aware of cell division at this stage. So just what you have to do is, like if somebody asks you about centrosome, you have to say that it consists of two granules called as centrioles. Their function is to migrate towards pole, or you can miss this line that they migrate towards pole as you are not aware of the cell division. Just write that they help in the spindle or the astrid formation during cell division, and they are present only in the animal cell. This much is required at your level, because as you will know about more about mitosis, meiosis, that is cell division, then particularly you are going to understand that what actually the centrosome does for a cell. So this is what is the organelle. I think you got it. Please keep in mind, you may get a question asking like what is a kitchen of cell. So which organelle is kitchen of the cell? So you should be quick with an answer that it is a chloroplast. Powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria. Societal bag, lysosome. Factory of proteins, ribosome. Factory of ribosomes, that is nucleolus. And framework, endoplasmic reticulum. Dictyosome, a special name for Golgi body in plant cell. So just try to remember their names, and you should also be quick with an answer that why they have been allotted these special names. So this is what an organelle, and as we started, that organelles perform many kind of functions. I told you they are performing, though they are performing a secondary function, but still the function is very, very important. So as you have seen that different organelles is just doing a very important work overall, like it is producing energy, it is just removing the debris, it is storing the excess substances, it is producing the proteins, it is secreting as well as transporting, it is providing a framework, they are involved in imparting a color to fruit and flowers, and also in photosynthesis. So organelles actually form a very important part of the cell, right? So just go through it, try to learn them, and please do not skip diagrams, they are very important, right? So this is what is the organelle and the cell about.